Kat-B320, Brian here, back with another video review. And today we're looking at the Halo Spartan series, Spartan Cats. So, I know this is very different. This is kind of like a video and custom review since I did paint this figure up, so I'm gonna see how this goes. I decided to review this because I do actually kind of like the Spartan line. Like, I bought Cat as like a see what I think about it, and I'll give some thoughts. So, of course, here she is, and since this is also partially a custom review, I'll quickly go over the paints that I used. So in some areas I used some black. Of course, I'll point these out as I go. I used, I think it was this on one of the guns, Kai Drab, which I'll get into why later. It's flat aluminum. Bit of gunmetal, and like one dab of red somewhere. Actually, no, there's a little bit more than that. So here she is, and of course the original figure does have some decent paints. It has a lot of nice weathering here and there. Just I wanted to do more, and you can see I did. I didn't take off the original paint, so a lot of it's still there. Oh, and also one other thing I forgot. I used some sky blue. Completely forgot I did that. Kind of going around, you can see a lot of the weathering and such that I did on this. Though I didn't actually do anything to the back here. Oh well. So some of the detail paints I did is like, what I did is I looked up what she looked like based on the Reach model, and so that's where I got the things like to do a bunch of silver going up these, where I guess it just looks super scratched, and where I got to do these blue lines right there because the Reach model had them, so I decided to paint them. Then I painted up the arm a little bit, be a little bit more like the Reach model too. Though I found correctly, this arm isn't exactly the best sculpted to be like the Reach arm. I don't know, like if it's just a similar one but different, or just a reused one that looks close enough. I don't know. And then a little bit more detail paint that I did other than weathering is the camera, which, if this camera like to focus, paint a little dot in there red, some black, and I painted the back black. Now, one of the main reasons I'm doing this video is because whenever I was like doing a bit of research on the line, whenever I looked up reviews of Kat, like every review just talked about the problems she had. Not a single one was like, oh yeah, you can fix it with this, because I literally fixed all of her issues. Like, it wasn't that difficult of a fix to do, or at least most of them. I couldn't fix everything, but I fixed the main ones that bugged me. For one, this joint right in here would be super loose, but on mine, as you can see, it's very tight, which what you can do is rip her in half. This should slot out. And then what I did is I put 4 layers of masking tape on this, because at first I did try like the typical method of like putting floor polish on the ball joint, but it was doing literally nothing, so I decided to do this, and it works fine. Doesn't affect articulation or anything, it just makes the joint nice and stiff. And I actually did similar things. These arms, they pull out, and so I actually popped it out by accident, so when I popped it back in, it was super loose, so I put some masking tape over it, and it is totally fine. Both arms are totally fine. One other thing I did, though this also caused another problem, which we'll get into, is that this peg was like super duper long, and also, yes, I have been spray painting stuff, which you might see in a future video. And so pretty much whenever the Magnum would store on her hip, it would just stick out, but with this it doesn't stick out nearly as much. The only downside is whenever I'll move the leg, this might pop out, like if I... This joint is extremely stiff. I don't know if I can take this apart and fix this because, well, you know, like I said, I'm not an expert on this line. I just know some parts of the body can come apart, but I haven't seen a way to take this apart. So unfortunately, I can't provide a fix for that if that's an issue you're having, like I am. I hope it's just mine because, I mean, the figure still does look great. As you can see, I did a lot of weathering, like to this arm here. I think this is the arm I did all the gunmetal to for the weathering. Did a lot of black sharp. I did a lot of like black, silver, and I think some gunmetal over like the entire figure. So you can see a lot of the black there at the bottom. kinda. And then even on the silver bits here, you can see like the black going up them. And a lot of black going around here. Just, I did a lot to this, man. I had a really, it was a really fun experience to paint something that wasn't like a robot, you know? It was different, it was interesting. And so for one, she does have an alternate head, which what I did is I actually took a little bit of red paint and like did some of her scars so that they were more pronounced. Because on the box they're more pronounced. It's weird that on this they aren't. I couldn't fix that though, the weird little hair thing going on. I still do like it. Which this works by popping off her head and popping this one on, but it's really tight, so we're just gonna pretend that's there. It looks marvelous. Yeah, for some reason on this copy, whenever I put that head on there, it goes on, but then whenever I take it off, it takes the joint off too, so I always gotta get like a pair of pliers and like pry off the joint and then pop it back on. And then I also painted up her individual hands, which does have individual hands. She only has one fist, which is unfortunate. All of these I dry brushed that blue on them a little bit. She has a fist for the left hand. She has this pointing finger, two-finger thing for the right hand. She has a single pointing finger for the left hand. She has a pointing finger for the right hand, but I used it to hold the magnum, which we're gonna get into these weapons in a minute. And that's it for the hands. And so pretty much what you do for these is you pop out this, you slot in the new one, bada bing, bada boom, she's holding something else. Which on the magnum, I did paint a little bit, but not much. Literally just that bottom bit of black is all I did. I didn't really need much. It was actually just good as is. I could have painted up silver and all that, but I just didn't bother. But the interesting thing about these arms is that if I can get this off, which I just broke off that. God, these figures, I'm telling you, they're neat, but they got a lot of problems. Like they got some issues, which I don't think anyone talks about. But I can glue that back. It's fine. Break it on camera. But the interesting thing about this is that the robotic arm, the peg is actually thinner than the other arm. Which you can kind of, if I can get this in focus, so I can explain my point. You can see it's a bit thinner. So I guess be more careful taking it out. I mean, I just ripped off a little blue piece, so there's that. Pop it on. But for the most part, taking off the hands on this figure has been fine. Like I've done it a few times. Thank God I didn't break off the didn't break it off again. But you don't know, I'm gonna put the fist back on for now. Articulation on her, the head is on that double joint in there, so like the joint itself moves and it's on a ball joint, so it can go full 360. This arm can go out that far, full 360, 90-degree bend, swivel there. All the wrists can rotate and then go point up. This arm has similar articulation, though it has a butterfly joint that kind of locks into place. It locks there for the butterfly joint, and then it kind of just doesn't anywhere else. Arm can go up that far, swivel there, double bend at the elbow, then same wrist articulation. This joint can actually function now, so it isn't super loose, because like mine was like flopping out of the box. She couldn't even stand like this. She was just always gone. A little bit of movement in the midsection. The legs are really squeaky, and I don't like it. They can go up that far, and it scares me. Back that far. There's a knee bend there, and there, so a double joint though. It looks a little weird, not gonna lie. They can go out that far unless you move the leg up, then they can go a bit further out. There is, yeah, see I said if you move the legs too much, this will pop out now. But if you didn't shave this down, if you don't care about the hip storage, you got no problem there. ankle pivots, and then a toe. So these are very articulated. They just got issues, man. Like, I mean, most of them are fixable issues, but they got issues. It's just for... Alright, now, we'll get into size comparison after we get into the Spartan laser, which, as you can see, I have completely repainted. This is where that weird Kai drab thing came in. Because on the box, it was like a more brown color, whereas the actual one was all green and weird. And so I decided to fully repaint the gun. So I repainted some black, did all the silver, and then I did the weird gray that's actually a shade of green. I don't know, man, it's weird. Which, the thing I wish these figures came with is instructions for what hand holds what, because I do not know. It takes me ages to figure this out, and all the weapons are rubber, by the way, and they all have a little slot there, so where, like, the Spartan laser, for example, there's a peg there. It can store on her back, like so. She can have her Spartan laser on her back. Which, by the way, that peg, I don't know if it's supposed to be removable, but mine does not come out at all. But since the guns are rubber, which even this is like, it's rubber, but since it's so thick, like you can see it's bent a little bit. The Magnum actually had to heat up with a hairdryer to get back flat because it was just super warped out of the box. But you can get the hand to kind of hold the gun, sort of. Which I believe it's supposed to be this hand, 2-finger pointer. And I believe the 1-finger pointer is for the Magnum. Again, there's no instructions that just say this, and I kind of hate that. Just take that out. Swap out our hands. We can get... We'll bring back in the now messed up open hand. Sorry, man. Like, I didn't mean for it to break. She's all upset at her broken hand. It's like she chipped a nail, except she just chipped off a little piece of armor. Then we can, that fell out again. We can pop out the the Spartan laser. Use lib butterfly joint, and she can hold it pretty decently, you know. She's holding it. She's vibing with it. It's just for some comparisons. Since this is mostly a Transformers channel, here she is with the average Hasbro Deluxe, so you can kind of get a sense of her size. I think these are all meant to be like 6-inch figures, or 6.5 inch, I can't remember. And since I literally just found him yesterday, after 2 months of searching, here is the Chief. Which, if you guys like this video enough, I will do the Chief after he's painted up and everything, because I haven't started painting him yet. Like, this is mostly the paint quality of his figures. Like, you can look at it. If you see like a lot of glimmering coming off, that's because there's a lot of silver dry brushing on here that just isn't super visible unless you have some light. Except the only bit of paint I hate on this is that is ugly, man. But yeah, you can get a sense of her scale with something else in line. But these are the only two I plan on getting from Wave 1, unless the other guys go on sale for like half off. Then I might get them just because they look kind of cool. But I'm mostly just going after characters that I like. So there you go. So, yeah. Overall, she's got issues. The line kind of has issues. Like, as you can see, the tight joints, the fact that the hand that just fucking broke, it's gone. It's still fun. Like, most of the issues are fixable. Like, again, this doesn't bother me much because, you know, little dab of super glue. It's done, fixed, moving on. So, yeah, if you guys like me doing, like, video/custom reviews of the Halo Spartan line, if you let me know, I'll do more as I buy them, which, like I said, the only other one I'm buying so far is Chief. I mean, I don't know what Wave 2 looks like. I don't know, we haven't seen it as with this recording. But, and yeah. Anyways, that is pretty much all I have to say. So, please be sure to check out my channel for more video and custom reviews, and please don't forget to subscribe. You can just go join my Facebook and Tumblr pages, linked in the description below, and you can come join the Infinite Sun Discord server, also linked in the description below. And this is the 14th Prime, signing out.